All right, y'all, let's get into cannabis one more time for part 3 and get into the cannabis being laced and GMO cannabis and all this other stupid nonsense that the propaganda, the reefer madness, the news, the schools, police stations, all this shit they want to fear you with. Okay? So I've been personally consuming cannabis since age 21, and I'm 46 now, and I have always been looking for that laced weed, okay? And I've even put the liquid codeine or whatever on my own weed to try it out or whatever, and I don't suggest that because it takes forever to dry, and when it does dry, it's all sticky as shit, and it tastes like metal and whatever else, okay? And then I've smoked pills on my weed, and man, that I don't suggest that on your lungs, folks. Anyways, that was back in my past, in my 20s and such, when I was doing the experiments and studying late night with the dark forces, learning the different lights that control this world. But through my life with cannabis, and having to grow black market and such, I had to learn to breed, and I learned about the plants up close and personal. And every single plant, every single seed, okay, is different. You can even take the same plant, the same clone, and grow it in 10 different gardens, 100 different gardens or whatever, and it will all be different because it grows according to what's around it. And it's an energy plant, and it's an antigen plant, it's a bioaccumulation plant. As it's a bioaccumulation plant, it's absorbing everything around it. So when a person touches it, like the craft breeders and whatever, they're putting energies into there. When you write the name on the tag or the number on the tag, all those things put an energy into the waters in that plant or whatever, or any plants. So that's like what the book Message of Water. If you write messages on your water or messages on whatever, it will change the water frequency, water structure, in a matter of speaking, and you can change things or whatever with that. But I used to write messages on my plants and those types of things, and they do seem to respond. I used to play music for my plants, all these things, but the things that you learn breeding and being a breeder and being a grower, just with any kind of a garden, okay? Cannabis is that kind of human plant. If we were a plant, we'd be a cannabis plant, but we can learn a lot about ourselves through the process of the cultivation. And we can learn a lot about the world around you and the structure of government and everything based on the living soil system and all those things, because everything is based on, it's all built on each other. It's all layer upon layer upon layer. It's all light upon light upon light upon light. And as the light's built up, it becomes more dense and more dense and more dense. So we got to get away from being the dunce, and get into the lighter aspect. And that's where cannabis comes in, because it's a frequency modulation plant, in a matter of speaking. It's an antigen plant, bioaccumulation plant, all these things, and you're consuming light with light, and it's there to help you think about this world in a different way. It's there to help you ask questions about your life and the things in this world, okay? Because this world is controlled by Satan, and Jesus wants to give you a gateway to be able to access heaven on this earth, and that's to be able to think outside the box, and that's to be able to think for yourself. And how do you think for yourself? Well, you start asking why in the hell you're doing what you're doing. And a lot of that comes with cannabis use or drug use or whatever. They want to offer you white market drugs, and there's black market drugs, but they want to push those white market drugs, that over-the-counter medications and these antibiotics and stuff. So you go into the B system, and the things that are put in front of you are there to test you. And cannabis helps you know that there's a test going on, and it starts asking questions of your teacher, and your life and saying things, because cannabis is a teaching plant. Mushrooms are a teaching plant. The things that help you see in this world that are natural are teaching plants, okay? And acid is derived from ergot, which is the ergot, which is on the rye, which is the ray misspelled. With cannabis being different, okay, these companies, they have to do pheno hunts for sometimes years to search for the best genetics and to test them in all these different areas and whatever, however extensive they want to do it, okay? But this is where they take thousands of plants and they grow them out and they see which is best, and they go and narrow it down to one plant. And that's why you see the plant is being genetically modified through breeding, just like all your normal vegetables and other growing. So if we see a genetic that we like, or a terpene that we like, or whatever, we will back cross it or however and stabilize those genetics. And even with a stabilized genetic, you can have that stabilized genetic, it will still put off a different genetic on each seed that's tied to that, but they'll all have certain characteristics that tie into that one, okay? And this is kind of how we all connect to that one single light source, but we've all been spread out and we're all the members of that, right? So we're all the same, but at the same time, we're all different. And that's the same with cannabis. It's all the same, but at the same time, it's all different. And the terpenes, the THC, all these numbers are teaching you or whatever, all that's just bullshit propaganda, and those can be fudged depending on how they set their standards for their gas or however they're doing their tests. But that's how you can have the same genetics being taken from one state to another, one test at 30%, and then the other state has 15% max limit or whatever. They just lower the test standards, so then it tests under the standard it needs to, because it's all bullshit and it's all there to program you to think you need something or whatever, because there's a whole new pit that's opening up, and this pit is going to be tied to terpenes and flavonoids and plants or whatever. We're going to be we're going back to repeat kind of the old, but in a new way. And you can see like a parallel things coming, because you can see like the beastmen getting their vapes, apes or whatever in the end, and then the sons of God or whatever, they continue to grow in a matter of speaking, all right? And however, but the cannabis is being taught to y'all so y'all don't use it, so you don't wake up, so you don't question the brainwashing and whatever, and the way the pharmaceuticals are designed, the way the spirits with alcohol are designed, the way this world is designed with artificial colors and whatever. If you're too toxic on these things, okay, you're not going to be able to handle cannabis a lot of times, okay? And let me say something about a breeder, okay? Because as a breeder, I've seen many things, or as a grower, I've seen many things, and being in the industry, I've seen many things, and I've seen people who grow cannabis and who are supposedly the stoners or whatever, they take 1-2 hits and they can't take any more, okay? Now, I've had people come over to my house back in the day, and I smoked the same stuff that they smoke. My wife at the time, she would smoke the same stuff that they would smoke, okay? They would take 1-2 hits or whatever, they'd be blasted. I'd have many times the people on just a normal afternoon session, people pass out on the couch, they're there for a few hours, they can't drive, all kinds of different things, okay? I've had people pass out, hit their head on the floor freak out situation like that. I've had a dude curl up in a ball in my backyard. What did you give me? What did you give me? It's all just normal shit I grew. Okay? Nothing laced, nothing whatever. It's just being brought low or brought high. Okay? Many things are going on here. And they're going to be telling you that this is laced or whatever's laced or whatever. If there's anything laced out there on the street, is being put there by the government and is being put there like in a pre-roll fashion or being passed out at raves or whatever kind of thing. But it's not being put on there by your dealer. Your dealer wants their money. Okay, he doesn't want to kill all their people. Okay, and most dealers test their shit out or whatever. So if anything, the lace stuff would be coming from people being out on the street and just handing out free joints. And that would be a government operation kind of thing going on, okay? But this would be like that hemp that's being grown, and they've been working with synthetic cannabinoids or whatever, so they could just basically go in and spray stuff on this pre-rolled stuff and just go and hand it out on the street, okay? That is the only way that the lace stuff is going out there, okay? Otherwise, you need to think about what's going on in this world, because they're telling you one thing to bring in rules and laws and measures on stuff, okay? And the people have already taken the treatment, okay? So as they've taken the treatment, they're going lower and lower and lower, okay? And if you're toxic, if you're overweight and you're not healthy, you're going lower and lower and lower. And if they don't get you with this, they're going to get you with food and drink. If they don't get you with food and drink, they're going to get you with the medicine. If they don't get you with the medicine, they're going to get you with the politics. If they don't get you with the politics, they're going to get you with this, that, and the other. The war, whatever, okay? It's all there to make you go into the delusion. And the people today that so-called are awake, they're talking about the fentanyl and the weed on the streets. They're talking about the reefer madness bullshit, all this stuff, okay? It's all garbage. It's all there to make you think a certain way. It's all there to propagandize you. And as the Bud Light's being lit now, that Bud Light's going to be lit later, because cannabis is going to more than likely be used as either a COVID spreader or a COVID healer. All right, we'll see how they make the twist coming up in the future. But if they make it a COVID healer, this is where they can get you into the pit that way. If they make it a COVID carrier, then they can crash the dispensaries or whatever, and then take it into, they'll crash the dispensaries and take all those mom and pops out first. And then once they take out the moms and pops and they just are talking about rescheduling it to where you can take money for it or whatever, well, that's a perfect time for the pharmaceutical industry to come in and start taking money. And as they come in and take money, they take out the little guy, and it creates this system to where you have to get your clean, lab coat grown, glove grown cannabis, where it's all properly manicured and it's tested and all this other bullshit. And you know that all that testing is bullshit or whatever, so you don't have to go into the pit and get all that stuff. So there's different things being laid out or whatever. And this is where like the recreational market is being pushed on the terpenes and THC or whatever. And the medical market, it's been out here forever. And we've been taught that you don't need any of that. And then all of a sudden this new forehead structure is coming out to control the new system or whatever. So as they take out the old, they're setting up the new. So either way, it's all bullshit, and you can consume whatever because it's all light. Everything is light, and it's all different layers of light, and the rulers of darkness is ruling the light. And Jesus is the darkness, the beginning and the end, and he's where all that light meets. Okay, there's one visible light out of the 7 total lights. So these are all operating our world, and they're all heaven and earth, and hell is created by man. And hell is where you're in church and they're saying, you're going to hell if you use cannabis. God isn't with you if you use cannabis. You are demon possessed, and your drunkenness and all this other shit. Okay, drunk versus high. Drunk versus stoned. There's a big difference. That's why your law book tells you not to drink. Okay, so many things going on here.